It's only 7:13.
Hello, hello.
Hey, Al.
Hey, Dave, that sound is crisp.
Thank you.
How is it going?
Oh, it's going well. How's things with you?
Things are going great, actually. They're fantastic. Really,
Awesome.
some good stuff that I've actually been just signed up on a client, have onboarding to do with them. Just honestly, things have been jamming. I'm working on a joint venture on something really big.
Nice.
Yes.
Better. Nice.
Yeah, so we're really pushing to take the whole deal digital. That's the whole plan. You
Yep.
know.
Awesome.
Yeah. How about you? How are things with you?
Oh, couldn't be better, man. Couldn't be
I,
better. Still in the dealership for now, but every day we work a little closer to actually being out of that world. So it, but podcast is going great. The weekly mastermind's going well. I got a new coaching program that is about to start session 2 of that program. So
that's huge.
it's going good, man. No complaints here.
That's huge. I love it. I love it. That's awesome. I did put together a couple of resources for you for VA. Uh,
Awesome.
so I did wanna touch on that, but you take the lead and let me know how you kind of want to do things.
Whoops, I muted myself. As far as the podcast, it's just a conversation. I don't have any pre-scripted questions or anything like that. We just a couple of guys in the car business chatting about stuff. So
Love
um, we'll start out. You can do a little introduction of yourself, and then we'll go from there, and where the conversation goes, wherever it goes.
Love it. Let's take it. Let's take it from there, and then at the end, if you want, I'll share those resources.
Yeah, absolutely. All righty, here we go. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Fixed Ops Mastermind podcast. Today, we are excited to have our guest, Al Salas, who is the, I may say this wrong, CEO of F&I Direct. And Al, glad to have you with us. How are you today?
I am pretty outstanding, like a farmer in a field, doing well and feeling better.
There you go. Awesome. So for those of the audience that do not know who you are, give us a little background of where you came from.
Well, it all started when I was a kid. All jokes aside, I my background is the retail industry. I've actually been part of the car business since I was the ripe age of 18. Started selling cars in the sales floor. Was going to school at the same time, doing going to for going to school for business management at the time, business administration, and in the car business. And about a year and a half into that journey of trying to split the two things, I fell in love with the car business. Maybe the money, but I did fall in love with it, and I saw an opportunity to get into finance. And I pestered my managers at the time to tell them, hey, a year, I know that I'm young. I'm only 20, 21 years old at the time, and I really like this part of the business. What do I need to get into that part of the business? And I had a really great, actually a couple great bosses that influenced me and helped me into that, and some other people in the dealership I was working at that helped me push up. And um, I've been involved in finance for the last almost 13 years now. Really, well, 12 years, a little bit over. And it went from being in finance, was in the retail side for a while now with F&I Direct for close to 5. So that's a quick synopsis, but it's all stemming from my love and passion for the car business.
Yeah, and it's the car business, right, that has given all these opportunities, and you talk to people in the business, whether they stayed in it or moved on and started their own business like yourself, and everybody has a kind of similar story where you were given an opportunity to start in the car business as a salesperson and move up into the finance office, and there's still places you can move from there within the business. And it's one of the great things about this industry is you can do that. Now you were pursuing a college education, but there's a lot of people that come into this business that don't have any education, and they still can have that same opportunity.
That's so true. And for me, that was the case. Even though I was pursuing my college education, at that fork in the road, I had to make a decision. You can't really do F&I and learn F&I and learn a career and do college. So I actually ended up dropping out. And with the plan, I'll go back. I'll do this for a little bit. I'll go back. Yeah, I'm still waiting to go back. So that's something that the car business is unique for, and I'm so grateful for that opportunity.
Yeah. So after you moved into finance, um, what was it about the finance side that really that really pulled at you? Well, what part of it was? What was it? The it's I know you made the joke, maybe it was the money. Obviously money is a motivator for everybody, but money's just the vehicle, right? To get us to where we're trying to go. There must have been something that spoke to you that said, wow, I really like doing this part of the business.
You know, you're absolutely right, because you can make money in any part of the business. And if I didn't find something valuable or that I liked, I wouldn't have opened a business in finance, right? So it started with the money, but then quickly as I got into it, what I fell in love was really the four aspects of F&I. There's a leadership aspect of F&I, because you are a manager in the store, even though you're managing paperwork. What I really fell in love with was the fact that you can influence a deal. You can influence the ability of somebody really getting a car or not. And really, some people who can't get a car anywhere else, with the ability that you have as a finance manager, you can do so. But it was also the second aspect, which was sales. I was an okay salesperson, but when I went into the finance office, I discovered that being able to influence and share a story with numbers that could result in a bigger paycheck for the dealership and for myself, that was alluring. But at the end of the day, it really came back to my values, right? I saw that there was a lot of F&I people and F&I practices that were just wrong. And I saw the attitudes of other finance managers, and things that I've been really that I heard at the time. I was actually fortunate enough to work for a really reputable automotive dealership, that actually group that didn't really stand for any of the unethical stuff. And so it really helped me understand that there's more to F&I than the money. There was the leadership, there was the sales, there was the administrative stuff, which a lot of us don't really love. But and I'd be honest, I didn't either. But but I did learn how to get good at it. And lastly was really my favorite, which was the forecasting, the learning of the operation of how important really F&I is. And if you have a strong F&I backing as a dealership, you can do wonders in a sales department. And as I kept going through, and as I kept learning, and as I kept discovering things, I learned that F&I is the best retention tool that a dealership can have, not just for profitability, but also bringing the customer back through the offering of products and services and programs in the F&I office that you can provide to the customer. You know, one of the biggest programs that I saw immediately, I was like, this makes sense, was prepaid maintenance. Prepaid maintenance is one of those things that customers are going to pay for it. You can either pay less now or pay more as you go, but either way, you're paying for it. You decide kind of how you want to do it. This way, you can budget it in your monthly payment. You can go into your service department and have a fixed payment. But what it does to the dealership, it increases their retention, huge. So at the time, I was working at a Toyota dealership, and really, I saw that influence. I saw how customers had a big problem, big repair, $3, $4, $5,000 that could get covered by a service contract. And I didn't. When we came to this country, I've come from Dominican Republic, and when we came to this country, we really didn't have much. So I saw how the products and services that I was providing to customers could have helped me, could have helped my family. I didn't have enough money to repair a tire or a rim.
Mhm.
So I think that what helped me get good at it was the fact that I truly believed in the value that we were providing to customers through the services and programs we have in the F&I office.
Mhm. Yeah, you can kind of sum up that whole thing with relationships, right? As in the F&I office, you've got a very short window of time to build a strong relationship with that customer in front of you. As a service department, we have years to build that relationship. And build that retention, keeping them coming back by building that relationship. In finance, you've got those clients in front of you for an hour, and you need to build that relationship so that they have the trust in you to know that you have their best interest at heart. And like you said, taking somebody who may not be able to get a car, may have had some financial difficulty in the past, whatever it is, and you're able to sit there in front of them and overcome that for them and get them into the vehicle that they need to get to a job so that they can make more money, so that they can get out of the financial troubles that they're in. That's a pretty cool place to be, and a pretty cool place to come from. And if you look at the finance department that way, rather than people that are just selling people stuff, you're selling them products that do help them, that can help them down the road. And like you said, prepaid maintenance, it sounds like you were probably ahead of the game on prepaid maintenance, because if you were at a Toyota store selling prepaid maintenance, it's before Toyota's whatever 2-year plan that
Right. And even after they came up with that, right? So we were running around 40-45% maintenance penetration at that time. And I had a finance director that was really, really keen and dialed into that. If you consider this, Dave, 60% of Americans don't have $1,000 cash to pay for an emergency repair. 80% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. If you consider that data, where there's 60 million vehicles sold in the United States every year, you are actually doing a disfavor to a customer by not presenting the right value in the products and services. Now, I don't believe, one of the things that I don't believe in is in doing the wrong thing in order to make money, because at the end of the day, I want to sleep at night.
Yeah.
And I was raised, I want to say my mom and my dad did a really great job raising me, in that sense. But I wasn't always taught in the car business that you could do things in a way that you could feel good about yourself at the end of the day. It was, part of the expression, but snap some necks and make some checks, that's the old saying. But if you come from a place of value and understanding that, look, most of the people that I'm going to talk to can't afford a big repair. You go back to the service department and you pull, you as with your experience level, you go back. How many times have you had a customer in the service drive that cannot afford the repair? That is willing to take a chance on driving a vehicle that is unsafe because they can't afford it. So if you look at it from that perspective, it really isn't hard to sell products and services because you're not selling. Right. You're just giving them the opportunity to buy. You're just saying, here, look, this is what comes from the factory. This is what you get. These are the limitations. Now, here at ABC Dealer, we've actually partnered up with companies to be able to bring you a higher level of service. And this way, by taking advantage of these programs, you can have a better ownership experience, regardless of what the situation might come up, whether it's an expensive repair, an electronic repair, especially with these cars these days, electronic, computer, sensors, backup cameras, all the dashboard buttons and gadgets that you might have in there. Whether it's a tire and wheel program that protects tires, rims, if you get a flat tire, if you bend the rim, roadside assistance. To some people, there's no value to it. And to those people, you don't focus on it. But to those people that are on the fence, they're on the fence because budget's important to them. And if budget's important to them, they cannot afford not to take advantage of products and services that we provide in the dealership. As long as we're pricing them fairly, as long as we are disclosing it, and as long as customers know what they bought and covers.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And as you said, by not presenting things to people, you are doing a disservice to them, right? That's in again on the other side of the house in the service department. Sometimes it's difficult to present to somebody what they need for their car because it's going to be expensive. Or have a feeling that they may not be in a position to be able to do that, and it's terrible for somebody to have to make that choice, right? To say, do I fix my car on this issue that's not safe, or do I, whatever it is, make my rent this month? And to have that opportunity up front when they purchase the car to be able to give them that insurance plan, right? Everybody has insurance for everything else,
Exactly.
right? They have insurance to drive the car.
I'll tell you a story that really I believe is what made me a believer in F&I. When I got the opportunity, I could I really can relate this story, my personal story, to the passion and the belief that I, at least in my company, we have regarding service contracts and products and services that we provide in the F&I office. I had a don't say anything. Yeah, you can't say anything. This big guy, yes, I had a Toyota Prius plug-in. All right, and I loved that car. It was really, for me, I just kind of bought into the idea of being a little bit more eco-friendly. I love the idea of fuel economy, and this was when I was a salesperson. I didn't really have, like I said, I don't come from much. Everything that I do have today, I've earned. And at the time, I wasn't in finance. I was driving my vehicle. I got into a pothole, and my axle actually went
Mm.
right. And I brought it to a dealership. I didn't have tire and wheel. I didn't have an extended service contract. I didn't have anything of that nature. And the tire popped. The rim wasn't holding air, but more importantly, the axle went. And at the time, I was told that I had to pay for it out of pocket, and I didn't have the money. I had to call my best friend at the time, whom I think still. I mean, he was best man at our wedding, and still very. I mean, he's still my best friend, and he had to let me borrow on his credit card $3,500 for me to pay for that repair.
Wow.
At $100 an hour in labor, I mean, we get to more metro areas, 150, even more
Right.
in labor alone. So, you do a 3-hour repair, you're talking about $500 just in labor alone without parts. So that was a pain story that I really lived. And when I was talking to a dealership or a customer, I should say, I could tap back into that experience and say, you know what? There is true value in this. Trust me. I could have used it years ago.
Yeah.
And that's what I truly believe to my core, still to this day.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. There is definite value there, and like you said, for those who don't see the value or don't need the value, I mean, if you're a person that has that $1,000 in the bank or more than that in the bank, and it's not going to be an issue if you have a $500, $600 repair that comes up, then maybe you don't need that product. Maybe you need some other product, but maybe you don't need that extended warranty or whatever it is. But to not present that to people who could use it, like you said, is doing a disservice to them, and that's what we're all there for, right? Is to serve our clients, to do what's best for them. And obviously sometimes dealerships get a bad name, a bad rap, because there's bad anything in the world. There are people out there that are in it for nothing but the money. But those aren't people that you're going to find around for the kind of years that guys like you and I have been around.
Exactly.
They're there and they're gone. Because I say to people every day, at the end of this, I have nothing but my name left. So doesn't matter what dealership I'm at, what I'm doing, what business I'm running. It doesn't matter. I have my name, and I'm never going to do anything that's going to, tarnish that name. So,
And it's amazing what happens when you come from it from that angle, right? And you truly present and sell the value. Here's what happens. It's, we've both been fortunate to have been around to seeing it, after the customer trades in the car, what happens next, right?
Mhm.
When you focus on just the money, now don't get me wrong, again, I fell in love with that idea of the money at first,
Yeah.
and then eventually it developed into that. But as dealers, some dealers cannot afford not to have a strong finance department in order to have a sales operation, but for the money, right? But if you're selling from a place of value, the money comes as a consequence
Mhm.
of the value that you're presenting. And the customer believing that they have a better customer experience, when not believing, but even experiencing it when they go to service, that, oh yeah, that'll be $100 deductible.
Right.
Oh, your service is already paid for. That tire, you know what? Don't worry about it. We're gonna take care of that for you. When they come back to buy their next car, they come into the finance office, and I've been fortunate enough to be at a dealership for a really long time, before I actually, started my own business. And they come to you and say, Al, you remember that program that you sold me last time? I want it again.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you know you really did the right thing by the customer and by the dealership, in that order.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Cost is only the cost is only a factor in the absence of value, right? If
I've never quite heard it like that.
yeah,
I like that.
if they don't see the value, then it doesn't matter. It could cost a penny, and it's too expensive. So that is good stuff. Let's dive into a little bit about what you do with your company that's different from others, and how you make this work for dealers.
Great question. So one of the things, my company is F&I Direct, and one of the things that we do differently is that we have skin in the game when it comes to dealership profitability. We position ourselves, our offerings are all tied to, if the dealer does well, we do well. If their customers do well, we do well. Meaning, if we are able to provide the value to the customers, we do well. And we're actually at the forefront of a couple of different things. One of the things that makes us different, that dealers really love about us, is that we have a guaranteed dealer profit program. And what that means is that if a dealer starts working with us, and we'll explain to them how our program works, and they see the value, as you said, we enter into a relationship where, if they make more profit than where they're at by doing the right thing to the customers, again, stemming from that value, then we share into that profitability. They don't pay us otherwise. So in other words, I'm investing my people, my time, or our resources into a dealership. So it's almost like the dealer gets an investment from us.
Yeah.
And then we are vested into their success, because we only get paid if they actually improve. And that's one of the things that really sets us apart in the marketplace.
Yeah, that's definitely different than the way most things work, which is everything is X dollars, and it doesn't matter whether you can't sell any of them or not.
Exactly.
You just pay for that. I love that. I'm kind of picturing that out in my head, but it really does make you more of a partner with the dealership rather than a vendor to the dealership, right?
Exactly. And you said the V word. I really, that V word, man, it gets to me, because, to me, a vendor is somebody that's going to you and peddling paper, right? They're peddling something. They're saying, here, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff.
Right.
And especially my space, they want you to put their brochure on the shelf. And they don't really care what you get for it as a dealer, right? Or they don't even really care what the customer gets. It's just, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. But the way you put that, partner, that's how I view our business. That's how we view ourselves.
Yeah.
It's exactly that. And when customers take a look at our testimonials, and our customers tell us that all the time, you guys are really more partners than anything else. Because I've never had a vendor, to use that word. I've never had a vendor really structure a deal where I don't pay them if I'm not successful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's you putting your confidence in what you do, right? That's you being able to walk in there and say, look, I know that my stuff is better than others, and here's my proof. You're not going to pay me unless you make money. So
Right.
that is a very cool way to go about things. Al, how can people get a hold of you? What is the best way to reach out to you?
Best way to reach out to us is we have you can go to our website, fidirect.net. But if you want to take a look at the offer we just talked about, as far as the guaranteed dealer profit, We have a website designed just for that. Is guaranteeddealerprofit.com. That's guaranteed. That's one, no spaces, guaranteeddealerprofit.com. And if you put the S in there, we also have that domain. So it'll direct you to that website as well. So that would be the best way to learn more about that offering. And if you want to check out client testimonials and things of that nature, we have a video there that you can take a look and definitely learn more about that.
Excellent. All right. We'll make sure we put that all in the show notes too, so people can just click right on there and head on over there and find more stuff about you and your company. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you.
It was awesome. All right.